that's just the case. But then how come I look around, of you there's not a trace? It ain't enough for me to spend my time and care. If you're just gonna love me from way back over there. So step it up, step it up, step it up, baby, I'll be gone. You keep saying you want me, well, push has come to shove. It's way past time and overdue to show what you're made of. It's nowhere near enough, and I won't hold my breath. But if you come through for me, I'm yours in life and death. So step it up, step it up, step it up.
Okay, so the whole reason that we have waited so long with this test is because we have waited for Hawker to put up a shop in Oslo, and they did. And a couple of days ago, the building they were in had a fire, so they're temporarily closed. But they started in Drammen, which is outside of Oslo, and they have another shop here at Sandvika, which is like 20 minutes outside, I would say, of Oslo. And they're still planning to put up the shop again in Oslo, so we're thinking we'll still include it in the test. We'll just have it here. But I'm guessing the dough is the same and the selection is the same. So yeah, that's all the info you need, I think.
Let's go inside.
Yes. Pretty snuggle. Okay, so we have an original glazed, which is pink because it's Barbie themed today, and we have a smash. That's chocolate and smash pieces on top. So I'm starting with glazed. Did I call it originally glazed?
Yeah.
That's I'm too fond of Krispy Kreme. It's plain glazed. Glazed. It's a glazed donut. Pink glazed. And this is the perfect size.
Yeah. And it matches your top.
That is such a good and sweet flavor. Very sweet and simple. The dough jumps more back than I've tasted before here, I think. But it's really moist and airy, but not too airy, not dry at all. That was really good. But I would like it to be collapsed. A bit more collapsed, like the Krispy Kreme ones. But it was really good. The flavor was delicious. Now I'm going in for the big boy. That dough is just like, no chocolate around my mouth. The flavor of the dough is delicious. The texture is like super soft, but the only thing is I would wish it would have collapsed a bit, tiny bit more, but other than that, it doesn't taste anything like oil and it's not tough at all. And if you're thinking we should have gone for the Oreo one was like 90% filling and 10% dough, so I don't think that would be a fair comparison to the other ones. Now for Matt.
I'll go for the exact same order. It's very light. It's super light.
It's so tiny in your hands.
That's really good. The glaze, it's sweet, and the dough is actually really light. But I agree, it should be more like chewy and more like collapse. But this is really good. It doesn't feel dry. So the big boy.
It's so much bigger than the other one.
I mean,
It's too big.
The other one is even bigger than a Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
So this is like.
That is too big.
It is. It's like this big.
Yeah.
All right, let's go for it. The dough here it does collapse a bit more, you see? The piece I took now, the dough actually collapses more. So this one feels a bit more moist, if that's a word you want to use. But this is really good. But it is too much.
Yeah.
It is too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should mention that is a small mini one for them.
And this is even for a small, like a normal Krispy Kreme. This is even bigger than one of those.
Yeah.
Because it's taller. That was good. Okay, so the next one is Talormade. and they have 4 locations in Oslo. It's here where we are at Palais, and there's Bispevika, CC Vest, which is like a shopping center, and Lillo Gård, which is like in Storo, which is their main. I think it's the first location. And they also started selling at 7-Eleven, or at least a couple 7-Elevens. So we got a couple. So we have a plain glaze, and we got a dolce de leche and almond. Compared to the ones at Hawker, these are smaller.
That is like the mini one from Hawker.
Yeah, this is like the mini one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one, they actually feel soft. It's actually, it's weird to describe because it's kind of airy, but it's dry. But it's not dry. The texture is, it feels a bit more, you can feel the texture of it more than like the Hawker one. I don't know, it's difficult to explain, but it's good. It's a good flavor, but it's a bit more spongy, I think. Okay, so then we'll go over to the dolce de leche one. The texture is exactly the same as the plain glaze. But it's real nice with the crunchy almonds. But I don't really taste dolce de leche. It's kind of just sweet. Isn't it supposed to be like caramel-ish?
Yeah.
Or is that tres leche?
It was like milky, almost like caramelly.
Yeah, it's sweet. So it's kind of like more of a glazed glaze, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I would say take away the almonds on this, and you would have a more glazed donut than the glazed donut.
I start with the plain. This feels really soft. Yeah, it's super soft, but it's still, yeah, kind of, it feels moist to the touch, but it's kind of dry.
It's so hard to describe because it's kind of like a mix of both.
I feel like this is something I haven't tasted cloud bread, but I feel like this is cloud bread, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's weird, and the crust is very thin, so you can't really, I don't know how to describe that. The glaze, maybe it should be more glaze, and the glaze should be more hardened.
Yeah.
Should more have like a crispy glaze around. The flavor was good, but I'm not too fond of the texture. The texture is more of a roll, I would say. More of a light roll than for this one. The bite I got was drier than that one. It has a lot of filling in the middle though. Let me try one more. I think it is dulce de leche. It does taste like that, but I think just the almonds kind of overpower it a bit. But I did really like the flavor of the glaze and the almonds. It's just the dough, I think it's not, the dough is not moist enough. It's not juicy enough. Some people love this, but I like the dough to collapse. So I'm not too fan of the dough, but the topping on that was really good. Okay, so the next donuts are from Daisy Donuts. It's not a donut shop, but she does sell donuts at, she has sold them at 2 locations in Oslo. One is Gras, but she doesn't sell there anymore, like right now, but I think she will in the future. The other place is called Trekt, and it's down at Tjuvholmen, it's down by the dock in Oslo. They still sell it now for a limited period, but she also has a website, daisydonutsoslo.com, and she has pop-ups like regularly, so we thought we want to include her donuts in the test. And they are looking pretty fire. I think these are like her staples. These are like the donuts I've seen her sell regularly on the website and on the pop-ups. So it's salted caramel, and I think it's tutti frutti with fruity pebbles on top. These are the only ones, and she has some like donut holes as well. I want to taste this first.
Dig in.
It's definitely an airy bun-like dough, but the salted caramel is probably the best salted caramel I've ever tasted. The salt level is up my alley. So if you don't like salt, these will probably be a bit too salty for you, but that is perfect for me. Yeah, you can see. So you can see the texture on the dough is very airy, and it doesn't collapse like I would like it to. But the flavor is really, really good. It doesn't taste oily or anything, and the topping that just makes this, I think. I can't get over the caramel. It's just perfect. And when I saw the salt on top, I was like, yeah, that's my type of donut. It's very soft, not too airy, not like airy like the Talormade donuts. They were like mostly air. This is still a bit pretty dense, not dry at all. But I would just like it to collapse more. But it's a delicious donut nonetheless. So let's go for this one. I assume the dough will be the same. Am I okay?
Yep.
The frosting is cream cheese, and it's pretty zesty. It's pretty sour. It kind of tastes like cream cheese, sour cream, kind of. And you really get the hint. It doesn't taste like Tutti Frutti. It tastes like Fruity Pebbles. So it's like a cream cheese, sour cream cheese with Fruity Pebbles topping. It's good. It's not my cup of tea, but it's still really good. But that is definitely the winner of these two. And the dough is the same. It's a mixture of airy and compact, I would say.
All right, so I'm gonna try and I'll try in the same order. Ooh. Hang on. One more. I think you nailed it on the description. The texture of it's very bun-like, but it's not. It's exactly like you said. It's not like the Talormade one where the air feels kind of like their own, like they have each their like skin, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But this one feels more like a bun. It's airy, but it's not dry.
No.
And but again, I would like it to collapse more.
Yeah, it bounces back.
It does. And in most cases, that's a good thing. But in a donut, I kind of want to do like just kind of. But the caramel, that was.
It's the best caramel.
I mean, that was really good. I could literally just eat the topping of it.
Yeah.
But it's really good. Now this one, when we came here, and I instantly saw this was Fruity Pebbles, and I was like, damn right.
Yeah.
and I could smell when we would bring it over here, I could smell it was cheesecake with lemon, and I love cheesecake with lemon. Ooh.
You're more of a sour person.
I am, in general. That is pretty sour. Ooh, that is actually pretty sour.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. It's actually overpowering the fruitiness. I kind of thought it was going to be a bit more fruity.
I felt like it was a bit too sour.
It is. And when I make cheesecake, I usually make cheesecake with lemon. But this was a bit too much lemon. I kind of wanted it to be a bit more sweet. And the Fruity Pebbles are giving it like a good crunch. But you're not getting the Fruity Pebble flavor. Which, I mean, is kind of what you want. When you put it on top, you kind of want the Fruity Pebble flavor. So, but it's actually overpowering the Fruity Pebbles, the lemon. So I think, you know what, I think that the caramel's the winner of these two. But in general, pretty good donuts.
You keep saying you love me, and that was just a case. Now you're here right by my side, brighten up my days. Was never enough for me to spend my time in care.
Okay, so next up is My Ugly Baby. They used to have 2 locations, but now they only are located here at Youngstorget in Oslo. We're pretty central. And we just found out that they are unfortunately closing their kitchen. But we decided to include them just in case if they ever open the kitchen up again and serve donuts. And we kind of felt they've been here for years. They've been one of the originals to serve donuts, so we thought it would be a good idea to include them.
Yeah, they deserve a mention.
Yeah, they deserve a mention.
And they've been on this channel several times.
They have. So we went for, like the other tests, we've gone for an original glazed, which they just call vanilla. And then they have a special donut, which is like this month's. It's called the Tim, so I'm guessing it's the Tim Tam. So it's chocolate and cherry, like cherry jam or something on top. Okay, so like the other ones, we'll start with the glaze. And it's not much of a glaze, it's more like a frosting, it kind of looks like.
Yeah,
Well,
and it's big, it's heavy.
This is heavy. It's a dense donut. And yeah, it's pretty big, as you can see. And I've got a big face. I think maybe, and this is actually pretty a bit sad. But I think probably this is the best dough they've had since we tried them. It's collapsing. I mean, the donut has probably been a bit too long in the fry because it's got like a hard skin, like we've said on the other ones. But the dough inside, you can see it's kind of like more, it can collapses a bit more. So it's a bit chewy and very good. It's very sweet. So, but that's probably because there's so much glaze. But overall, pretty damn good. And probably the best one they've had so far. Okay, so next one is the Tim. And I'm a bit cautiously optimistic because normally chocolate covered donuts aren't my favorite. But I'm excited for the cherry. I probably have a lot of chocolate on my face. But again, the dough's pretty good. I'm pretty surprised because we've had this before and the dough hasn't been this good. So pretty good. The chocolate is like almost coffee flavored. So I think that's pretty normal Norwegian thing when we have coffee in the chocolate. And the cherry is quite tart, but you can taste the cherry.
Okay, then it's my turn. They're so big. I just have to have that said. They're too big for my liking. I would like them to be so much smaller, but the dough looks very good. The dough is very nice. It's been a while since we've had donuts from there. I think the round ones are better than the filled ones because the fill they've had before has been too filled, too big. And the filling has like been 90% of the donut. But this, you can really taste the dough. It's really soft, really like squishy. And I love the flavor of the glaze. It tastes like incredibly sweet with a hint of vanilla. Maybe too sweet for many people. I think that is just perfect. But yeah, the dough is better than I've seen from them, which is kind of sad. But yeah, you have a couple of days to come and get them. Now for the Tim. I feel like that is like a classic Norwegian chocolate cake frosting. And you get the slight hint from the cherry. I really like this. That was such a good glaze. And the bun is kind of softer than the other one. It's kind of a bit more soft. As you said, the outer layer is a bit tough, like it is a bit oily, but I feel like I think these would be perfect if they were a bit smaller and just fried just a little bit less. And I think they would be perfect. So that's very sad. But if they are watching this and ever thinking about opening up the kitchen again, then they can maybe consider making smaller donuts. But yeah, they were really nice.
You keep saying you love me, might be that's just the case. But then I look around, of you there's not a trace. It ain't enough for me to spend my time in care.
Okay, so we are at probably one of the, if not the oldest food court in Oslo. It's called Mathallen, which is a food court in English, I guess. And one of the places in here is called Cupcake and Pie Company. I think they call Cupcake and Pie Company Donut Shop or something.
Yeah, and donuts.
Yeah, they added donuts later. So yeah, the selection there was pretty good today. If you've been around for a while, we have been here several times before as well. They didn't have a plain glazed. They did have a cinnamon though, but we wanted to try a glazed one. So we went for the sprinkles one because this has some glaze as well. I feel like that is more similar. It kind of looks like a cupcake in the shape.
It does.
Looks like it's been in a mold.
Maybe they used the cupcake mold.
This is also very big. I think it feels as big as the My Ugly Baby one, but it feels a bit denser. I'll just jump right in.
Dig in. That almost looked like a cronut in a way.
You know, the texture is kind of like a stale cronut, if you know what I mean. It's very hard and almost like chewy. It didn't collapse at all. It almost didn't like make a dent when I bite into it. We have something here in Norway called like sweet buns or sweet rolls. It reminds me of that, but it's even harder. It's even more dense. And I don't really care for the sprinkles, the round sprinkles. The crunch on them is not like stripy sprinkles. I feel like the flavor is a bit weird as well. I'm gonna jump into the other one and hopefully that will save this place. This is caramel cream. This looks good. It's very runny. It's a very creamy caramel, almost like a toffee instead of a caramel. It's really, really good. The texture is very similar. It's a bit too hard for my liking. It's more of a sweet roll. It's more of a dense sweet roll. It's not dry. Yeah, I would like it to be so much softer. Everything tastes good. It's just the texture I'm not too happy about.
Just looking at the texture of it, it looks like a cronut. Well, instead of layers, there's bubbles.
It kind of looks like a cruller, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it does. It does look like a cruller. And they actually have crullers there, so... okay, let's dig in. It is very tough, and it's very dry. I'm not getting any taste from the glaze, but I am getting like a stale feeling, like you're saying. It looks like a lot lighter chocolate. That's really good. I agree, the flavour of it is a lot better because it actually has flavour. And the caramel inside is delicious. It's kind of like a mild toffee kind of flavour. And the chocolate is also mild. It's not as strong as the coffee flavoured one from My Ugly Baby.
I feel like also having it filled makes it a bit more juicy.
Yeah, it's better than the other one, for sure. So out of the two, this was definitively the best.
Okay, then for the final verdict, if you've seen the best of series before, you know that we are going to crown a winner. So we have these, and we will write each our winner and show it at the same time.
All right.
Okay, I might be cheating just a little bit.
Okay.
Because I have to.
3,
1,
2, 1.
Yeah. I have My Ugly Baby as the first place, but I have put it in a...
Oh, parentheses.
Yeah, so the second place is Hawker, because My Ugly Baby is closing in...
A couple of days.
4 days.
I agree.
Yeah?
Yeah, I agree, because my second pick would be Hawker.
Yeah?
Yeah, so it would be my first.
Yeah.
And that's actually surprising. Like we mentioned when we were there, it's previously the dough hasn't been as good, but for me it was probably the crowning reason why I chose them this time, because the dough was superior to the others.
Yeah, that was the surprising part, because Hawker has had a better dough every time we've been there earlier, but at this test, the dough wasn't the best.
No.
But that's why I put them in second place, and like this test, like the first place, if you're thinking that My Baby's closing, because I know that their dough is usually have been better, at least at the Drammen location and at the Oslo location, even though that's still closed. But yeah, My Ugly Baby's dough was the best I've ever tasted them when we were there. So that's very sad.
Hopefully they will open up again at some point.
Yeah.
I mean...
I'm thinking maybe they regret the decision and open up again.
I think so too.
But yeah, that means My Ugly Baby and Hawker, 2 winners.
2 winners.
We have just written down like a summary of like a bullet point of every single one, so you can take that away from this if you want to go visit. I'm just gonna quickly go through mine. So yeah, Hawker, I feel like they have a great selection. They have a lot of donuts. They have a very good dough. Their donuts, they're too big and they're sometimes too much. Like it's too much topping, too much filling.
Yeah.
And they have few locations. Talormade, great selection, very good size. They're not too big. They have a good selection like between the simple and complex like toppings. Their dough is not that good. It's too dry, but they have many locations. Daisy Donut, not the best dough for me. It's not dry, but it's a bit too dense for my liking, but some people might love that. They are very big. The topping was delicious, the caramel at least. She's very creative, like a small local business, just like her running that thing. And she's like, has several other things on her website. So I would highly recommend go and check that out. My Ugly Baby, good selection, simple, good like mix between simple flavors and complex flavors. They have a very good dough, but the donuts are too big. And they're closing down, so me.
Yeah, that's...
Cupcake Pie Co, great selection, good combination between simple and complex toppings. Not the best dough, it was too dense and a bit too dry. And they're too big and they only have 1 location.
You could basically copy-paste what... I would basically copy-paste what you said.
Yeah.
But I'll just run through it.
Yeah.
So, My Ugly Baby is... the dough is good. It's very good. They have a great selection of donuts. They have some variation to it, but also like a good selection of mainstays. But the downside is the donuts are way too big. Talormade, the size is pretty good. It's bigger than what I would kind of prefer, but it's like out of everyone, I think they're the smallest ones. They have a good stable selection. So you'll always get the ones that you're looking for, but the dough is not the best at all. It's dry. Hawker has a good selection. They have a more varied selection, so you might not get one you're kind of looking for. So that's kind of like both a positive and a negative, because it's good that to vary all the time, but it's also bad that you can't like guarantee that you'll get that specific donut. The size is too big and they can be too like overloaded. So we've seen ones where it's like they've added a whole carrot cake on top of an already massive donut.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like too much. Daisy had a pretty good size. The two we tried were pretty interesting. The caramel one was definitively the best. The texture of it wasn't exactly what I kind of wanted in a donut, but they were pretty good, I would say. And pretty interesting flavors. Cupcake Pie has a great selection. I think when we went there and looked at the selection they had, it was pretty interesting, and they have stuff that the others don't have. And the size is pretty good. The downside is that the quality of the dough seems to vary a bit. So for example, the ones we had, the caramel one was, I would say was pretty good, but the other one was pretty bad.
Yeah, so that's it. You'll just have to decide based on that which one you want to go check out. Sadly, the My Ugly Baby's closing, and now Hawker is not in Oslo for the time being, and Talormade also have some like rumors that she might be closing down several locations. So donuts is not really a thing hasn't really been a thing in Norway, and it doesn't seem like it will be in like near future.
I think it's a sign of the times.
Yeah, a lot of businesses are closing down because it's hard to run business here now, based on everything going on in the world and the economy. But yeah, that's our verdict. If there's anything else you want us to go test out in Oslo, please leave that below. And hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, and we will see you in the next video. Bye bye.